Hi everyone. Good afternoon. It's afternoon now. I was out this morning taking some pictures and now I am ready to get a craft going. I know it's been a few days. I got a new camera lens last week, so I admit I've been a little preoccupied. I'm just getting my other feed up here so that I can kind of watch the comments a little bit better. There we go. All right, so what we're gonna do today, this is what I have planned, and I've had this craft plan for a while, but I've been kind of doing a lot of like Easter stuff and everything, all that, a few spring things, but so we're gonna go ahead and work on this today. So I have a few pieces here. These are just some planks from Dollar Tree that I got over there, and then I have these. They were arrows, and I just cut the tops off of them. So I'm gonna put them together and we're gonna make some faux farmhouse shutters today. So the first thing that we're gonna be doing is painting them, of course. So I've got my wax paper here and I'm just gonna kind of work on each one of these pieces to get them ready. So today I think I'm gonna use some of this burnt umber and add a little bit of water to it and kind of make it like a faux stain. I can get some out of here. Okay, it probably doesn't take much, so I'm just kind of watering this down. And then I'm going to be spreading it on. I like to do this in different ways. Sometimes I use like the antique wax, wipe it on, wipe it off. Sometimes I use the chalk paint. And today I just decided to use this. No specific reason. I just like to mix it up sometimes. So, do you guys ever do any like faux staining on your projects? What are your favorite products to use when you're doing that? All right, so I just kind of want to lightly wipe this on. Probably could have used a little bit more water. I don't know, we'll see. And then I'm gonna take my wet wipe and just kind of wipe it back off. It's just gonna give that nice stained look without the smell and of the stain, and it's just such a harsh chemical. I just prefer to do this. And you can see it makes a really nice, starting to make a really nice, you can see the wood grain in that. So, add a little bit more. A little bit more on this bottom too. I'm gonna go ahead and get the sides because they're probably going to show. And I'll probably go ahead and do the back too. So this really is what's gonna take the longest, just kind of getting all my pieces done. And for time's sake, I may just go back and do the back later. We'll see. And you can just keep adding as much or as little as you want. Let's see. Monique says, sorry I'm late. What product are you using instead of the stain? No worries at all. I'm using this burnt umber. It's acrylic paint in burnt umber by Folk Art. And I just added some water to it. My water spritzer doesn't want to work today, and I just mixed it up in this little dish, and then I'm wiping it on. And you can kind of go as dark or as light as you want. My dogs are gonna bark for me. Hello, be quiet, no barking. loud one for sure. If you've been following my page, you've probably seen my pups that I post a lot on there. So that's Lou. She's the darker one, the female, and she's very loud and bossy for sure. And I do just want this to be not super dark because I want to be able to really see what it is that I put on top. I'm going to be putting like a little floral arrangement, and I want it to stand out well. I don't want it to be so dark that you can't see it. So there's these two, and then my shorter ones. And if you're late tuning in, it was an arrow that I got from Dollar Tree. I'll spin it around for you. And I just cut the top off so that I could have a short piece. And it fits just right across my planks here. Get some more paint out. Definitely kind of experimenting with the consistency here and the ratio, I guess, of my paint to water. Since I haven't used this method a whole lot, I'm just kind of seeing what I like better. And sometimes you might want to check too, I didn't think about it, and see which side of the wood is better, because they do look a little bit different sometimes. But I feel like I'm probably going to be distressing this a little bit too. I think I'm going to probably add some other colors to it, just so it looks a little bit more weathered and rustic, not rusty. But if you like it simple, then you can leave it simple. I think I'm just going to add a little bit more detail to it so that it pops just a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and get it put together before I do that. Just adding my main color here before I attach my pieces. I'm just making sure I get those edges. All right, and one more piece. And this is a nice side. You can see that the wood grain is coming out. I may kind of test the other side of that smaller piece to see if it's any better, because that one's just kind of rough. I don't know though. It kind of just looks like a rough wood. So it might not be too bad to have that one on that side too. Kind of get my edges here. And I do like using the wet wipe too, just because it makes it faster to kind of apply it. Okay. This side looks pretty rough too, but let me just put some paint over here and see. I want to see what it looks like. Definitely doesn't hurt to mix it up, but I want to make sure I've got the best side for sure. And if that paint dries out on you, it's really easy just to add another spritz of water. Even if you put it on your board and it's not moving that well on your wood piece, you can spray water directly onto your wood piece on that paint and move it around. Yeah, I think I like this side better. Okay. It does kind of leave some like fuzzy pieces sometimes. So sometimes you do have to brush that off. But another thing that these little chippy paint brushes are good for is a broom. I use it as a broom on my table all the time. Sweet Tea Talking by Nita says, good afternoon. Hi Leslie. Hi Roxy and Karen. Sorry I'm missing y'all's comments. I'm just focused in here. Shannon, hi. Good afternoon, guys. I'm glad that you stopped by for a minute. All right, so there's that. Now let's put these together. If you're tuning in late, I'm just kind of working on making some farmhouse shutters. Giving them that stain look real quick, and then I'm going to be distressing them a little bit and adding some cute florals to the middle here. And if any parts dry, you can kind of go back over them, make it a little bit darker. If they kind of, sometimes different parts will soak in more. So just keep working at it until you get the look that you want. There's no really right or wrong. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and use some hot glue to glue these down, and then I'll probably staple them too. Hopefully my glue gun wants to cooperate today. I want to make sure I cover up those holes from before. That's pretty cute. My son just came in. He's showing me. Apparently they ordered a mini chainsaw. That's interesting. Actually, I think I might could use that. I didn't order that. Dad wanted that. I don't know. He didn't say. I didn't even really notice that's what it was. He just sends me things and sends me links and is like, here, order this. So a lot of the time I'm just hurry up and order it and get back to what I'm doing. Let me see. Bring that here. I never know what's going to show up around here, you guys. Let me see. I don't know. This is kind of neat. I think I could do some stuff with this. I'm not scared of this one. Might have to put that on my Amazon list there. Okay, so I've got these glued down pretty well. And like I said, I'll probably go back and paint the back later, but for time's sake, I'm just going to go ahead and move forward with this. So I'll move that to the side. Now I want to distress this just a little bit, and some of my favorite colors for distressing to make it really look like weathered wood. I like to use this mineral chalk paint by Waverly, and let's see, that's cinnamon. Cinnamon is for rusty stuff. Let's see if I can find my, there we go, classic caramel. It's just a really nice light color, so I like to use that too. And I'll probably just use my wax paper here to to get that dry brushing effect. So what you want to do, if you've never dry brushed anything before, is just get a little bit on your brush. Then you kind of want to tap some back off, and then just lightly, let me pull this up a little, just lightly sweep it across. Kind of get those edges, and it's going to dry a lot lighter, I've noticed, than it looks here. So you can, don't worry if you feel like you got it on too thick, it's gonna usually will loosen up, and you can go different directions. Just want to make it look like it's been sitting outside for a little while. Mary Jones says hello from Alabama. Hi there. I love knowing where you guys are watching from. I think that's really neat. I'm just gonna kind of rub that on. And if you get too much, you know, you always, it may have dried by now, but you can kind of wipe it back a little with your wet wipe. Rub it in, sand it in. If you need to repaint things. I know it can be intimidating sometimes when you're first trying something like this, but you really can fix just about anything. If you don't like the way it looks, just paint over it and try again. Add more layers. It's pretty easy. All right, so there's that color, and then add a little bit of my caramel color. Monique says she's watching from Virginia. Oh, sweet tea, you're from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I was born and raised in Louisiana, Northern and West Monroe, and then later I lived in Alexandria. Baton Rouge is a little further south, but I've been there. We moved to Oklahoma only about 8 years ago. So now I'm going to add some of this caramel color. Kind of wipe that back a little bit. Just gives the wood some different colors where it's not just so simple and flat. Then of course, probably use some of this truffle color too. This truffle color chalk paint by Waverly. It is really dark, and so that's going to give me the shadowy part on the edges. So for this, I'm just really focusing on those corners and edges. Parts that would maybe naturally show the most weather in a, you know, in a real piece of wood. Linda's watching from Pensacola, Florida. Nita says she was raised in Alexandria and went to college in Natchitoches. That's awesome. Yep, been to Natchitoches a good bit too. Just kind of getting some of this darker color on the edges. Marcia says she is from sunny Pollenfield, South Carolina. Yeah, we've got our fair share of that right now. In Oklahoma, it's the cedar trees. I have learned since moving here that I guess I'm allergic to them. From Wyoming. Kathy's watching from Wyoming. Awesome. Thanks for sharing, you guys. Then I'm just going to streak a little bit back across these pieces. Just kind of tone down some of those colors that I put in there. It's really just the layers that give it just visual interest to the eye and make it, I don't know, just gives it some depth. I agree, Nita. I've been to Wyoming before, and I really enjoyed it there. My husband traveled for many years for his work, and that was one of the places that we went. And we ended up kind of staying at a dude ranch and getting to do a few things after his job ended, and that was a lot of fun. Okay. I think that's going to be good for that. And then what I also like to do is just go ahead and take some distressing ink. I use this one. It's ground espresso. It's a really dark color, and I'm just going to use that to go around the edges. Well, let's sand first. Let's kind of rough it and scuff it up a little bit, and then we'll go over it with some of the ink. I love my mini sander here. It's just so useful for all kinds of things. I think it's called a mini gator if you're looking for one. I also have them in my Amazon shop if you like to shop online. Walmart has them. That's an easy place to grab them if you go to Walmart a lot. Mary says, your creations are always so beautiful. Oh, thank you. I just really enjoy it. I've got a lot of inspiration, a lot of wonderful crafters on here to watch. And then Pinterest. Actually, I got this idea off of Pinterest and just kind of tried to figure out how I could recreate it with things that I have. Thanks, Roxy. Roxy said she thinks it looks great. I think I'm going to sand this a little bit too. Just smooth it out. Okay. Let's kind of wipe some of that dust back a little bit. Yeah, I think it's coming out really nice. What do you guys think? Can you see? This is one of those tall projects, and it's really hard sometimes to show it. And sometimes the light makes it look a little bit different, but I think it's coming together pretty nice. Mary says Pinterest is an inspiration for her too. Yes, I could just sit and look for hours, and then I'll get really excited and ready to try something. Okay, now I'm going to use my distress ink to kind of go around. And it just gives it, it's just a different look than the paint. I don't know really how to describe it, but it's just kind of also gives it another layer. So I'm just kind of going around the edges there that I worked on. Just rubbing it on. I'm probably not going to use my blending brush today just because this wood's pretty rough. I didn't cover it with any Mod Podge or anything, so it's probably not going to do a whole lot of blending, but I like to just darken those edges, and I'll show you the difference. Just kind of gives it some shadow, makes it look, gives a little bit older look. So I don't know if you can tell the difference there, but I've got that on those edges. And I think for this piece, that's pretty much all that I'm going to be doing. Nita likes it. Thank you. what shade of Distress ink. It is Ground Espresso. I really like this one. It's really dark, but it comes in handy a lot. So I've got it all over me now. All right. Let me kind of get all my paint stuff out of the way. I like working on this wax paper because now I can just fold it up and move that out of the way. Rustic Barn says hello. Hi. I'm not great with names, so if you want to share your name with me, I'll try my best to remember next time. All right, so what I saw and what I would like to add on here is some of this really pretty eucalyptus that I got. This is from Dollar General, so it was like $3 for the bush. I've already used some of it, but I'm going to use a little more. And then I got this back in the fall. It's kind of a whole lot of crazy. It's a little wild looking, but I like these stems of cotton in here. I'm going to have to glue these back together, but that's mainly what I'm going to be using, and I may use some of these leaves out of here. I'm not really sure. I'm going to keep it pretty plain. So I'm just going to start kind of cutting some of these pieces. The Rustic. Liz says she's in her car on the way to Sam's Club. Don't crash, Liz. Wendy from Rustic Barn. All right. Hi, Wendy. Yes, Liz says she needs to send me some real cotton stems. Yeah, I'm a little, you know, a couple years after we moved here, I did see them growing cotton, but I haven't seen it in a long time, so I don't know why they quit. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use these leaves that are on here, but I'm just kind of cutting it off just in case. I might end up pulling it off. And I have some extra cotton I might can stick on there. I don't know. I want to keep it kind of simple. I try not to go overboard. I know I say that all the time, and I always do, but let's cut this off. All right. Let's glue my poor cotton back together because it's falling apart on me. There we go. Liz said it's too late. Is it too late for cotton? Oh, too late for your crash? What are you talking about, Liz? I'm always behind on the comments and I forget. I'm definitely going to take this off. I don't want that. I don't know if I want different leaves or not. I think I just want to keep it pretty simple. All right, let's put a few of these on here. Yes, the crash. Oh my goodness, Liz. I never know what you're up to, girl. All right, so I'm probably gonna just take some of these pieces and put them together and then just kind of zip tie them once I get them how I want. I never really know on florals. I've never really done floral stuff before. I just kind of fill in holes and put it where I think it looks good. Hi, Marilyn. It's all right if you're later. You can always watch the replay. And I just kind of worked on my board, and now we're getting the flower arrangements together. I'm just going to go ahead and cut all of this. I kind of want it to be just mostly greenery because I think it's really pretty. It's almost spring, and it's just what I'm feeling. Let's see if I missed anything. All right. I think I got it all. So let's just start kind of grouping this together. Kind of got to arrange those leaves in better places, some of them. Kind of put this tall sprig in the back here. I don't know if I want to group it together at the bottom. It seems like it's gonna, I am gonna cover this up with a piece of burlap, so I'm just deciding right now, do I want to group it together at the bottom or let it spread out some, because it might even be too much, but we're gonna see. All right, let's glue this piece together too. And then I have some extra cotton just in the bag from Dollar Tree that I'm thinking I might can kind of add that in if I need to, if this is not enough. All right, I'm just gonna kind of arrange that one there. Kind of have a short piece and a tall piece. Let's cut this off a little bit. Okay, so I think I can probably group it together a little bit with a zip tie. Oh, let's see, let me check here. All right, Karen. Karen says she's got to go. Thanks for stopping by for just a minute. All right, so now I'm going to just kind of group most of this and lightly grab it with my zip tie here. It's probably all in the way. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm just wrapping the zip tie around the stems at the bottom and kind of pulling it together. So I'm going to cut that off, and then I'm able to spin it around so that you can see it. Kind of something like this with the eucalyptus and the cotton. See some hearts going up. Thank you, thank you. Liz says that's a good idea to keep them, or you want them to, you can glue them down. Yeah, it makes it so much easier, and then you can kind of move them around too. Spread them out if you want to spread them out. So, I don't know. I may have too many in there. What do you think? Do you think it's too many? Do I have too much going on here? If I can get it straight. I cannot figure out this backwards camera thing. Leslie said she likes it this way. I don't want to get too much. Pull that one out and see. I think that helped. Maybe it doesn't look quite so crowded now. Not too many. Roxy liked it that way. I can always add this other one back in. I'm going to go ahead and do this, then put my burlap on. And then I can add some more to it if I want. But this is a good start. Let me go ahead and glue this down right here where I want it. spread it out. Kind of hold that down for a second and let it dry. The second way, Monique says, Leslie says she loves eucalyptus. I really do too. It is one of my favorites to use. I like the eucalyptus. We'll see. I've got some other sprigs of things. I may test it out. I don't know. I thought about maybe adding, not this grass stuff, but putting in a little of that. That's too big though. It's just too much. I don't think that's gonna, I think I'm just liking it simple. I gotta hold this down or it's never gonna dry. Let me look over here too. I got this bag of cotton from Hobby Lobby. It was on clearance for 49 cents. Can you see that? I always check that clearance section in the back. Most of the time I go and I don't see anything that I like, but I did find some good stuff this day. So, and we'll see. I might end up adding a few more pieces of cotton around. Kind of get that. I probably could staple it down too. Let's get my stapler out. Yeah, it was a super great deal. I was very excited about it. Liz says they have eucalyptus in North Carolina. Interesting. Oh, thanks, Watershed Life. She was complimenting my craft. She's got to go, though. I'm just going to hit a couple of these with my stapler. Kind of hold that down. Okay. We're out of room here. Let's see. So now, to cover it up, I have a roll of this burlap. I don't know, I used to decorate my Christmas tree with it, and now I just have it in my craft room. So I'm sure that it came from Hobby Lobby at some point. Maybe add one more cotton piece. Yeah, I think it's gonna need a little bit more. Leslie says, I love your back wall. Thanks. It's actually a material shower curtain. Super easy. All right, this is a lot wider than I was imagining in my head. So I'm probably gonna be cutting it in half, because I don't want to cover up all of that. So let me get a length here, cut some of this off. Yeah, I know it's a lot, like as she's listed, it's a lot of burlap. I would wrap it, tuck it in my Christmas tree, so I have a lot of it, but it's really come in handy. I got a little bit extra here. All right, but I want to probably, doesn't have to be quite half. Let's just cut some of it off and see what happens. Let's go about this much. And since that side's cut, I'm probably gonna go ahead and cut the trim off of this side too, just so it looks the same. And then of course I'm gonna be putting a bow on, so that's gonna cover, add some more detail to this front piece too. But for now, maybe scrunch it a little bit. Let's cut that off a little bit. probably I'm going to be bunching it in the middle. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to leave it like this, kind of loose, because I might tie it up in the middle so that when I add my bow, it looks kind of like part of the bow. And then the nice thing about these leaves is now I can push some of them up so they can be seen a little bit better too. So get that up. Okay. All right, so let's put this here and kind of flip it over. Be smashing all my stuff. But I'm just going to go ahead and staple this in a couple of spots. What do I do with my stapler? Here it is. All right, let's staple a couple over here so that my edges are tight. And then staple here where they're connected, or where they're overlapping. Okay. Kind of pull back some of these pieces that are coming off so that it looks kind of tattered on the edges. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put that to the side for just a minute and work on my bow. Get my bow dabber here. I'm sure you've seen me use this tool a lot. Super handy, especially on these bigger bows. It just helps. I'm not going to put that up. It helps hold all my pieces together. So I'm just going to put some jute here, set that down, and then I'm going to take some of this, measure it out. Leslie says, I missed the beginning. What wood are you using? It's some of the longer planks from Dollar Tree, and then a couple of the short pieces were actually arrows. I cut this top piece off of them because I saw that they were the perfect size to go across those two planks, and so I cut that top off. Liz says she's been sitting in the parking lot watching me for how many minutes? 15 minutes. She's worried somebody's going to call security. Yeah, Leslie, just if you have something, just kind of measure it out, put it together, and see what works. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut these pieces probably 6 inches. And I sometimes just like to use this as a base for my ribbons or my bows, because it gives it a good fullness on the bottom. And I just kind of cut 2 pieces and crisscross it. All right. And I am going to cut that edging off because I like the phrase. If you don't like the phrase, you don't have to cut the edges. You can leave all of the wired edges on. I'm just going to pull a couple of these pieces off, and they'll come off some naturally anyways while I'm working, but just so you can kind of see to get started. So I'm going to lay these down as my base. Just kind of scrunch them up in the middle and stick them down. Same thing here. Pull it up, scrunch it, and you can kind of make them like a little X. Once you get them out of here, you can move it around a little bit more too, but just gives it a nice fullness there. And then I have some of this plain ribbon. It's just kind of some natural, like organic muslin type looking ribbon that I'm going to use. And I'm just going to start kind of working that back and forth. And I think I have a pretty good amount of space to make a bigger bow. So I'm going to do several of these loops back and forth here. And this is nice because it's the same on both sides pretty much, and so you don't have to worry about twisting it and all of that. And then you can just kind of spread that out. I think that's all I'm going to do there. So cut those ends at a little bit of an angle. And then I have this kind of just a neutral stripe, and I just want to do one of these in the middle. Just keeping it really neutral. I envision this kind of like hanging in my kitchen or something like that. Just make a couple loops of this color right in the front. I thought it would be pretty. Never can decide which way I want to cut my dovetails. I'm still kind of working on that. Sometimes I just leave it straight, but okay, so once I've got all my pieces down, I'm gonna just pull my string up and cinch everything down. The Rustic Barns, that's so pretty, thank you. All right, Liz, if you need to go into the store, go ahead. We'll forgive you. And you can kind of just adjust your loops at this point. It does come with a measuring tool too. I don't usually think to use it. I just kind of make it and then adjust my loops at the end here. But the idea is kind of to have your bigger pieces out and then get smaller as you work in. And keeping this middle cinched tight once you get everything aligned the way that you want it. All right, I think that's going to be really nice. So I'm going to flip it over. And tie it in the back here. And just tie a knot, and then, you know, you can fluff it up. It gets a little squished whenever you flip it over, but you can separate all your pieces out. And I may end up going back and adding another loop of this striped color, but we'll see. I may like it like this. We'll leave it like this for now. But anyways, here we go. That glare is on there, so I don't know if you can see it good, but that's what I have so far. What do you guys think? Liz said she always wondered what that piece was for on the Bodabra. Do you mean the measuring piece? Monique says, beautiful natural bow with the different textures there. Yes, I love adding just the different textures. Not necessarily a lot of color, but if you can just add different varieties of textures, that's what I really like. I like a messy bow, but also I struggle if things don't match really well. I'm really a matcher, and I'm very symmetrical whenever I'm doing anything. So I struggle a little bit with that messy look, even though I really like it. Roxy and Liz both said it's pretty. Thank you. All right, so I think it's going to be really pretty on here. Let's see. That one's a little bit too. Okay. So now I'm going to decide how I want to kind of scrunch this up. I might just scrunch it and glue it. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just pulling this up in the middle. I'm going to put a little glue here and kind of fold it down. And that's just going to, and I'll show you. Just kind of creating a little tuck right there. If you can tell, that just kind of scrunched it up a little bit in the middle. And then I don't think I need this tie on there. Sometimes I leave it long because you might want to tie it on stuff, but I think I'm just going to glue it down and then I'll staple it down too. Okay. So let's put us a big thing of glue right here. I need another stick. So another nice thing about having this base is it just gives you a really good surface to glue. And also a nice surface for stapling. I like to go underneath here, kind of to that bottom layer. And just add a staple on each side to make sure that it doesn't come away from there. So there we go. So here's how we're looking so far with the bow and everything. And let's kind of look at it and see about adding some more cotton pieces. And maybe even we could add some of these pieces back in. I don't know, it gets a little bit overpowering with the eucalyptus, so let's not do that just yet. Let's see, we might can fill in some of those spaces with cotton instead. And I kind of just quickly get everything glued where I want it. Liz says, do I always staple the bigger bows? Anytime I make a bow, if I can staple it, I do. Just because it gives it, attaches it a little bit more there. See if I can stick this. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like it's too much every time I do that. But it just gives it a little bit more of an attachment there. But anyways, I just kind of get stuff put on there where I want it to be, and then I got a small piece, but I think these are all about the same. Then you can go back and add more glue later. Sorry, I need to finish my thought. There's kind of a hole down here. I don't know, what do you guys think? Here we have this so far. There's kind of a hole right here. I don't know if you can see it, but I don't know if you think one more piece of cotton is too much, because I'm also gonna have to put something here to cover up this bow. And I may just end up doing a simple like wrap. I don't know though. Let's see what y'all think. A neutral color. I do have some buttons. Yeah, Liz says too much. Step away from the greenery. I know, I know. Let's try the bow. I mean, not the bow, the button. I think you're right. So I have a really big one. That's kind of a lot of big. That one's kind of cute. And then I could just dress it a little bit. I think that one's probably gonna be, I like that one. Let's see what y'all think. All right. Let's put, just kind of staple it down. Whoops, lost my comments. Roxy says cotton in the middle. I did think about that too, but it's kind of a lot. I don't know. Sorry. I think that's going to be a little bit too much, but here's the button. If I can get it where you guys can see it. I don't know if you can see. Let's try the other hand. There's just kind of the simple button. I think that might be the way to go there. Yeah, button, button, button. Okay, let's glue this button on. Maybe I could just arrange some of these leaves to cover up that hole a little bit more. Spread my bow out a little bit too. And even after, I just really like how you can kind of adjust those loops if you need it to be a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, not longer. There. How about I'm just going to glue this piece down a little bit here. I don't really have anything. Let's see if I can glue it to its own stem. Down a little bit. Cover up that hole. I think that's going to be better. Let me look at it this way. Get this piece out of here. Okay, I really think that's it. I have to adjust this cotton a little bit more up here, but I don't know. I think that's pretty cute, guys. What do you think? It's just simple. I'll add a little hanger right here. Really, we can just staple on a piece of jute. I'm thinking one of the thicker pieces, or you could use like the wired jute even, if you wanted to do that. Liz says glue a couple of leaves. Yeah, I think, oh, it came back up. I think I may just pull a couple of leaves down or add a couple of leaves to fill that in, and I think that's gonna be fine. So I'm just gonna tie a knot on each end here. It kind of looks cute on the front, but I don't know. What do you think? Front or back for these knots? I really like the way that they look, and just staple them on, but I don't know how the staples would look. Can you see? Like maybe staple this on here like this where you can see the knots in the rope, or just staple it on the back to hang. What do y'all think? Front or back? Should I put the hanger on the front or the back? Marilyn says she loves it. Thank you. Hey, Tammy. What do y'all think? String on the front or string on the back? I really like being able to see the knots on the front. Drill holes for the knots. That's a good idea too. Drill the holes and then tie it. They like it on the back. Would you like the knots kind of coming through? I don't know. Front, back, back. I could just drill the holes. Then you would just see the knots and then this on the back. I don't know. I think for now I'm just going to staple it on the back if I can do that without smushing everything on the front. I always try to remember to put my hanger on first before I start decorating, but I'm just not very good at remembering that. I think I'm just going to kind of put it right here for now. Let's see if I can do this without pressing it down on the front there. Okay. I think that'll do for now. And I may, like I said, I may go back and kind of paint the backside so that it looks a little bit more finished. Maybe I should have done that, but I just didn't want to keep you guys too long. But there you go, and you can hang it up. I think it's super cute. What do you guys think? If you watch the replay, be sure to say hi. And I think that's it, you guys. You have a good rest of your day. Mary said make 2 knots with the twine and glue them on the front. Maybe so. That might work too. The staples in the front will detract from the pretty front. Yeah, I agree. We'll see. I may change it, I may leave it the same, but I really like it. So far what I have. So thanks for hanging out and chatting with me, you guys. It was a lot of fun, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.